Hi everyone, today I wanted to share with you some gift ideas for your photographer friends, or even better yet, just for yourself if you want to use these things. And these are things that I found very useful and will be using a lot more in the future because they're new to me as well. First off is this dual camera strap. Now this came in various iterations, or variations I should say, of different styles or different features. And I chose this one in particular because it's very affordable. I only paid like $27 or $28 for it. This one can be split into separate straps. So you can just carry one camera using half the strap, or you can reassemble it so it'll be a dual camera strap. So that's what I kind of liked about it, because I don't always go out with dual cameras when I go out shooting. Normally I'm just a single camera kind of guy. And also what I like about this, it has an additional padding on the back for your lower back. And it makes it a little more comfortable if you're carrying very heavy cameras, but particularly it makes the overall harness a lot more stable, and it's not just sliding around on your shoulders. So that helps a lot. And then also this one came with additional tethers. These are basically safety straps in case your camera works its way loose off of this carabiner. And this is a standard carabiner that will hook into, it's an included plate that you would hook this into. And for some reason mine came with these additional hooks, and I'll show you what they are. They weren't in the description when I purchased it, but it came with it, so I'll take it. But I can't promise that if you order it, you're going to get the same thing, but mine just happened to come with them. I used it last week for the first time actually at an event, and I was really impressed. I mean, when I had this on, it's like not having any cameras on you at all. It just takes all the weight off. But let me go ahead and show you. You just kind of put this on, not too different than you're putting on a coat, right? Or a shirt, sweater, whatever. And then you just buckle it here in the front, and it's all adjustable, of course. And that's it. And then I just attach the cameras. Now there's some additional adjustments here that you can slide up and down. And what that does is it keeps the camera from swinging back too far on the strap, or forward too far, and it's all adjustable. So I'll show you the first one. It comes with this hook or plate with a hole in it that you tie the carabiner into, or hook the carabiner into. And it's a locking carabiner. It has, the little screw thing on it. And then I'll just lock it in place. And I've already lost one of the tethers for the safety, but I'll demonstrate that on the other one. But okay, so that's one. We'll do this one. This is my Pen F. And this is one of the hooks that came with my package, even though it wasn't in the description. So it was a nice little bonus. And I will hook this in. All right, so this is a full view. And as you can see, the cameras just kind of hang off to the side, and then I can pull up one camera, or I can pull up the other camera, and you're good to go. I mean, it's a dual camera strap, right? When I used this at the event, it was awesome. It was awesome. I was able to get around the entire event between people, and it was, because it was crowded, and I really didn't run into any problems. Oh, I totally forgot to attach the safety tether. But I just hooked this into a little small strap or hook on my camera like so. So we have two very secure points of holding the camera, so you don't have to worry, because for whatever reason, this might work itself loose, and you'll always have this to catch the camera so you're don't run into trouble. All right, now that I have the cameras off, I can convert this into a single strap. So there's just some Velcro attachments here. And it just slides off, and I do the same thing here. And now I have a single strap, and this is the other one. So I have potentially two straps here. Okay, and this is how it looks in single strap form. I mean, you have this thing hanging off, but it's okay. And you can, again, just use the camera as you normally would. That's why I picked this one in particular, because it can be separated into individual straps when I don't need to carry two cameras. And then when I do carry two cameras, that additional padding in the back gives the overall harness really good stability. So I had no problems. I used it all night at an event, and it was great. Now the other thing I use a lot is this electronic dust blower, and it works as a blower and a vacuum at the same time, and this is a pretty high power one. This one is 60,000 RPM, and it's more than enough air and suction out of this. And there's a little filter inside, and they give you a couple extra to trap all of the dust and dirt, so that when you use it as a blower, it's not going to blow dust out. So I use this to clean my sensor too. It's not too different than a hand blower. Blow like that, and it has 2 speeds. And then if I just want to vacuum or clean the camera, the outside of the camera, I would use the vacuum to go around. And it's really great for cleaning keyboards and stuff too. This is the one that I'm actually getting as a gift for my nephew to clean his keyboard and other gear that he has. He's more of a gamer type. And this one's a little different than the one I just showed you, in that the air blower is on the bottom and then the vacuum's on the other side. So you don't have this this attachment here like this. This is a great blower vacuum, but this, I think, would eventually, if I'm not careful, I could easily break this. If I drop it, this could break off. That's why I went with this one, where, it's just attached to the bottom. It doesn't fold in and out. Okay, another good gift is, or useful item I should say, is these Xpro-O remote shutter releases. And they come for, every camera that you can imagine. For the Olympus cameras, there's a couple of different kinds. One that plug into like the USB port, and then one that plugs into the 2.5 millimeter jack port. So you need to know what kind of port or jack that you have for your remote shutter release. And more than just the shutter release, these can be set up as intervalometers. It can be very handy for astrophotography in particular, or if you like to do light painting, you can set this up for bulb mode. I mean, our cameras do a lot of that by itself, but what I found was, like, when you want to do family portraits and things, you can use the self-timer, of course, and our Olympus cameras automatically refocus for us, right, which is great when you use the custom self-timer. However, a lot of cameras don't have that automatic refocus. So what you can do is, you set up your remote trigger, you set this up, and you half press the shutter button to get focus, and then you can push the shutter button in full to take the picture. So I use this a lot, actually, for a lot of my testing, for autofocus testing, because I found that the self-timer custom autofocus, or where it automatically refocuses, is not as good as half pressing the shutter button using the remote trigger and fully pressing the button to take the picture. I found that I get more accurate focus when I use this rather than the custom self-timer built into the camera. Okay, another good thing is, if any of you have bought the Olympus OM1, you know that the OEM battery charger is really expensive. It's $150, I think. I mean, it's expensive. I only paid like 20 bucks for this, and basically it's a dual charger, right? Just like the OEM one. And I've been using this since March or April, whenever I bought my OM1 camera, with the OEM batteries, the original batteries, and it's worked great. Now, the only caveat is, and this is a good thing, is that it doesn't charge the batteries to 100%. It typically charges them to 99%. And it charges them very slowly. It takes 4 to 6 hours to charge 2 batteries in this. And again, that's a good thing, because with lithium-ion batteries in particular, you have to always be careful, of course, but charging them slowly, the batteries will last longer. Okay, and I don't mean like when you put them in your camera and use them, but I mean over time, you should get more recycle life out of them if you charge them slowly. These fast chargers tend to shorten the battery life a little bit, mainly because when they charge them fast, they have to increase the voltage, and or the amperage, I should say, and that heats the batteries up, and heat is the enemy of all things electronic. So it's better to charge these slowly and not top them off to 100%. And that way, your OEM batteries will last longer over time, and less risk of them exploding and things like that. And this charger in particular has both a micro USB and USB-C jack on the side here. It doesn't come with a USB-C wall charger, but you can plug this into any USB-C wall charger or micro USB wall charger. And like I said, 4 to 6 hours to fully charge 2 batteries. Even if you're just doing 1 battery, it still takes 4 to 6 hours. All right, last but not least, what I wanted to show you was the Godox V1 and the Godox Xpro trigger. Now you have to buy the trigger you have to buy, actually both. You have to buy them specific to your camera brand. I buy the Olympus O. You'll see a letter O next to the device name. So this is the V1O. Actually, these are the Flashpoint brands. It's the same thing though, it's the Godox. And the V1 is a round head, right? So you get a little more even light distribution. If you're shining this onto a wall or onto your subject, you get a nice round sort of spotlight type projection without that weird, sometimes, you know, the square heads kind of give you a weird shadow sometimes around the edges. This one gives you very, very smooth edges all the way around. And then of course, it also has these magnetic accessories. This is the only one I use, is this little ball head here to spread the light around. And I used this at my last event and it worked great. If you're just gonna buy the V1 by itself, you're fine. You probably don't need this trigger unless you want to use this off camera and do like a one light type portrait scenario. But if you're gonna get a trigger, I prefer this one now, the Pro version. I like it because the display is very big and the buttons are easy to access and push and everything. So it's very easy to control all your flashes with this trigger versus the smaller one, the regular one. However, if you buy a V1 and you buy additional flashes like the 8200s, which are also an excellent flash, you don't need to buy the trigger because the V1, when you have it mounted on the camera, will act as a transmitter trigger and control up to 3 groups, I think. Let me check. Yeah, this will control 3 groups, whereas the radio trigger will control 5 groups. So what that means is you can have 5 different settings if you have 5 different flashes. Whereas this one, you can have 3 different flashes with 3 different settings or 3 groups. So you might have 3 groups of 2 flashes each. I mean, if you're using that many flashes, you're probably, you know, don't need I don't need to explain all that. But the main point I want to make is if you get this flash and an 8200 or 2 8200s, you don't need to buy the trigger. You can just get this. So maybe just get this to start. And you can still get this. It's only like $69, but this, I always carry this with me as a backup, even though I know this works as a trigger. Because for whatever reason, you know, when you're doing professional work, you like to have redundancy in your setup, right? Dual memory cards, spare batteries, extra trigger, right? Separate from this. So, and it doesn't take up any room in the bag really, so why not? All right, let's see if we have time for this. I just did a review on these microphones, and in fact, I'm using them right now. These are the Comica Vimo C wireless microphones. It's a dual wireless microphone system, and it's very, very clear, and noise canceling is amazing. You can check out my video review on these microphones if you want to actually hear it. The noise canceling part, well, I'll just put a little clip in here. Wow, this is the quietest my yard has ever been. All right, now let's just listen to the ambient noise coming into the microphones of camera B over here. Now, when I was out here a little earlier doing some testing, so it's pretty amazing, right? But these dual mics, they come in this little case, and this case actually charges all three devices, the two transmitters and the receiver, all at once through a single USB-C port. And it comes with all the different cables that you would need, except for, like, if you want to plug it into an iPhone kind of device, you have to have that dongle adapter for a 3.5mm jack. But like Android phones that have the jack in them, or your computer, or anything that has a 3.5mm jack, you'll be able to plug the receiver into, like my camera, for example, in this case. All right, so I hope it gave you a few good gift ideas, or maybe things you want to get for yourself. Again, I'll have my affiliate links down below. I appreciate you watching, and I hope to see you again soon.